That first step into the cruise buffet? Overwhelming. Dozens of trays steaming with options, but not all of them are safe or even edible. I once watched a woman go from grabbing shrimp cocktail to lying down with food poisoning before the ship even left port. Here's the truth about what cruise lines serve and what you should never touch. Let's dive in. 1. Buffet sushi. It looks fancy, a little luxury rolled into rice and seaweed. But unless you're on a premium cruise line with high passenger turnover and top-notch seafood logistics, that sushi tray is a gamble. Many cruise ships don't have the refrigeration or freshness needed to safely serve raw fish 24/7, especially from a buffet line where it sits under lukewarm lights next to potato salad and deviled eggs. Food poisoning at sea isn't just miserable. It spreads fast, thanks to close quarters and limited medical support. The smarter move? Skip the buffet sushi entirely. If you really want it, wait for a specialty dining night where the sushi is made to order by actual chefs and served immediately. That cute roll might look photogenic, but trust me, vomiting through a tender boat ride in rough seas is not the kind of cruise memory you want burned into your brain. 2. Self-serve ice cream. Soft-serve machines are everywhere on cruises, promising endless swirl cones and childhood nostalgia. But watch closely. How often do you see them cleaned? Between sticky fingers, reused cones, and kids taste testing with their mouths, these machines turn into germ factories within hours. Worse, the nozzles rarely get properly sanitized midday, meaning bacteria builds up inside the piping. One unlucky swirl, and you've got a stomachache that follows you into the hot tub. And it's not just kids. Adults lean over, drip on the handles, and sometimes even use fingers to help the swirl. If you must indulge, grab a sanitized cup instead of a cone, wipe down the handle, and avoid peak crowd hours. Or better yet, visit the actual dessert bar, where treats are plated by staff, not sneezed on by strangers. That cone might be free, but it could cost you 2 days in your cabin with a fever and regret. 3. Undercooked burgers. Nothing screams vacation like a poolside burger. But here's what many cruise passengers don't realize. The flat tops at most outdoor grills are rushed, constantly running, and rarely measured for internal temperature. That medium rare patty might just be raw in the middle. On land, you could send it back. At sea, undercooked meat means a bacterial bonanza. Think E. coli, salmonella, or worse. And don't assume that grilled to order means fresh. Preformed patties are often thawed from frozen and thrown on high heat to rush the line. That sear might fool you, but the center tells a different story. Play it safe. Ask for well done and double check before taking a bite. Better yet, try the carved meat station or deli counter where you can watch your food made fresh. Because nothing ruins your shore excursion faster than clutching your stomach while the rest of the group heads to the beach. 4. Room service eggs. Breakfast in bed sounds romantic, but cruise line eggs, especially from room service, are a culinary trap. Those scrambled eggs, often powdered or pre-cooked and reheated in a steam tray long before they reach your cabin. What you get is rubbery, cold, and oddly metallic. Worse, they're sometimes kept warm for hours, falling into the danger zone where bacteria thrive. The tray might look cute, but the contents are a soggy disappointment. If you want real eggs, head to the main dining room or omelet station where they're cracked fresh and cooked to order. Yes, you'll have to put pants on, but your taste buds and stomach will thank you. Room service is fine for toast, fruit, or coffee, but eggs, they belong in a kitchen, not under a lid in a hallway for 20 minutes. Your cruise is short. Don't waste a morning on bland, spongy regret. 5. Buffet chicken. It's a cruise buffet staple, roasted, grilled, or drenched in gravy. But chicken on a cruise ship is notorious for being one thing: dangerously undercooked. Why? Because kitchens prep food in massive batches, and keeping chicken juicy often means pulling it just before it's fully done. That might work in a restaurant. On a cruise, it's a salmonella roulette. I've seen diners cut in and reveal pink rubbery centers while crew members just shrug. And once contaminated pieces hit the tray, cross-contamination spreads fast. Always check your chicken. Cut it open before you commit. If it's pink, rubbery, or smells even slightly off, skip it. Stick to safer proteins like pork, beef, or fish, ideally grilled in front of you. Cruise lines prioritize speed over perfection, and when it comes to poultry, that's a gamble you shouldn't take. No one wants to spend formal night Googling norovirus symptoms in the ship's bathroom. 6. Buffet shellfish. Lobster claws, mussels, shrimp towers. Cruise buffets love to flaunt seafood as a luxury perk. But here's the dirty secret. Buffet shellfish is a time bomb. These delicacies spoil quickly and need perfect storage temps and tight turnover. On a moving ship with hundreds of guests grabbing and grazing, that's nearly impossible. I've seen shrimp trays sit out for hours only to be refreshed by stirring. The shells glisten under lights, but inside, bacteria city. Cruise infirmaries see a spike in foodborne illnesses after seafood nights. And guess what gets blamed most? Shellfish. If you're craving it, head to the main dining room where dishes are plated fresh and monitored by real chefs. Otherwise, skip the crustaceans and stick to safer picks. That cocktail shrimp may look chilled and classy, but nothing says ruined vacation like shellfish poisoning at sea. It's not worth the risk, unless you enjoy hugging a tiny cabin toilet mid-ocean. 7. Mystery meat. You know the tray, vaguely brown chunks in sauce with a name like Chef's Surprise. It's not beef, it's not pork, and it's definitely not recognizable. Cruise lines use bulk cuts and leftovers to create buffet stews or roasts, blending meats into meals designed to stretch portions. Sometimes it's lamb, sometimes it's yesterday's chicken diced and repurposed. The danger? You don't know what you're eating, how long it's been held, or how it was stored. I once bit into beef stroganoff that turned out to be reheated liver. Disgust aside, that kind of mystery handling can trigger food poisoning, especially with pre-cooked meats reserved. If you can't identify it on sight or by smell, pass. Stick with meals you watch get plated or carved fresh. Mystery meat is for game shows, not dinner. Unless you're trying to play guess the gastrointestinal outcome, steer clear. Trust your gut, literally, and save your appetite for food you can name. 8. Tap water in cabin. You might assume cabin tap water is safe. After all, it's clear and cold. But many cruise lines source water from local ports or desalination systems and then store it in shipboard tanks. These tanks, while technically safe, can harbor bacteria or taste like metal, especially if the ship's been docked in questionable ports. I've brushed my teeth with it and tasted rust. And yes, my stomach noticed. If you wouldn't drink tap water in a foreign country, don't start just because you're at sea. Stick to bottled water or the filtered stations on deck. And don't refill bottles in your bathroom sink. It's convenient, but it's not clean. Veteran cruisers bring portable filters or water bottles with built-in purifiers. Trust me, dehydration is bad, but sipping mystery tank water is worse. For something as simple as drinking water, it's not worth the gamble. Cruise smart. Stay hydrated, just not with pipe-aged surprises. 9. Open-air desserts. That tray of cakes and pastries sitting prettily by the pool? Cruise ships love displaying desserts in open-air settings during lunch buffets or outdoor events. But here's the thing. Sun plus sugar plus sitting out equals fly magnet and bacteria buffet. I've seen birds nibble frosting, kids poke cupcakes, and guests cough over whole pies without a sneeze in sight. These treats often sit for hours, especially on sea days when the heat ramps up and refrigeration is nowhere nearby. The worst part? They're rarely monitored. No sneeze guards, no staff, just hopeful sugar lovers taking chances. Want dessert? Head inside to the dining room or main buffet, where sweets are kept behind glass and plated by crew. That slice of outdoor cheesecake may look tempting, but it's been through things. Serious things. Unless you like your dessert topped with germs and a touch of sun-baked regret, pass. You'll thank yourself when you're not skipping dinner due to dessert-induced nausea. 10. Day-old bread. Bread baskets feel like a safe bet, but on cruise ships, not all rolls are fresh-baked daily. In fact, many lines reuse day-old bread by warming it under heat lamps or stuffing it into bread pudding later. You'll notice it. The crust is too hard, the center too chewy, or the whole roll tastes like cardboard. Sometimes they even recycle untouched table bread. Yep, the rolls from that family who left dinner early, back in circulation. That's not just gross, it's a hygiene risk. Cruise lines prioritize zero waste, and bread is easy to disguise. If it tastes off, it probably is. Better alternatives? Skip the basket and ask for fresh toast or flatbread at lunch, or hit the bakery section during breakfast hours when turnover is fastest. Stale bread won't ruin your cruise, but it's one of those subtle disappointments that adds up. You deserve warm, fluffy carbs, not rejects reheated for the 5th time. 11. Salad bar slime. You'd think salad is the safe choice. Fresh, raw, light. But cruise salad bars, they're germ traps in disguise. Tongs handled by hundreds. Lettuce wilting under warm lights. Dressing bottles touched by hands that just came from the pool. Or worse, the bathroom. And let's not forget, most ships prep salad items hours ahead and refrigerate them improperly. Ever seen cucumbers with a sweaty sheen? That's not extra hydration. It's a bacteria warning. I once watched a kid sneeze directly into the cherry tomatoes. Crew didn't even notice. If you're craving greens, opt for plated salads from the dining room, where the kitchen controls prep and hygiene. Or better yet, skip the buffet bowls that look like they've survived 3 meal rotations. Salad should refresh, not revolt. If your Caesar looks tired and your spinach is limp, it's not a healthy choice. It's a gamble with food poisoning. Eat smart, not slimy. 12. Poolside soft serve. That towering cone of soft serve looks harmless, cool, creamy, vacation perfect. But the machine, that's another story. Cruise soft serve machines are high traffic zones, and hygiene isn't always a priority. Kids use them unsupervised, passengers double dip cones, and worst of all, those machines rarely get the full deep clean they need. In hot climates, bacteria multiply inside the tubes, and you're first in line for that swirl of sickness. I once watched a cone drop into the tray and a guest scoop it out and still eat it. That same tray caught overflow all day. Tempted? Ask a crew member how often it's cleaned. The awkward pause will say enough. If you need a frozen treat, go for prepackaged ice cream or order dessert from the dining room. That innocent-looking cone might be hiding more than vanilla. In the world of cruise germs, soft serve is the smiling assassin. Resist the swirl. 13. Undercooked eggs. Sunny side up. Over easy. Soft. Scramble. Sounds dreamy. Until you remember eggs are one of the riskiest foods on a cruise ship, especially when cooked just enough. Cruise kitchens move fast, especially during breakfast rush, and that means runny yolks often come at the cost of safety. I've seen over-easy eggs arrive raw, whites still translucent. One bite, and it's roulette. You might get breakfast, or you might get salmonella, and good luck blaming the chef when you're hugging a toilet. Want eggs? Ask for them fully cooked, hard scrambled, boiled, or in an omelet, where the heat's guaranteed. Avoid eggs Benedict unless you trust the sauce is made fresh, not batch prepped and barely warmed. Eggs should energize your morning, not end your afternoon in the infirmary. If the yolk jiggles like jelly, send it back. You're on vacation, not filming a Fear Factor challenge. Cooked eggs equals safe cruise. 14. Cheap champagne. Free champagne at embarkation or events sounds classy, right? Not always. Most of that champagne isn't from France. It's generic sparkling wine barely a step above grape soda in disguise. It's mass-poured, low quality, and often flat by the time it hits your glass. And if you're sipping it on an empty stomach, headache city. Some lines even water it down during large parties to stretch the supply. I once overheard a bartender say, "They'll never know. They just want bubbles." Trust me, your cruise memories deserve better than fizzy regrets. Want real sparkle? Order from the bar and ask to see the bottle. Or skip it altogether and save your drink credits for cocktails that won't betray you. That fancy flute might make for a cute Instagram shot, but behind the scenes, it's a glass of regret waiting to fizz over. Sip smart, not desperate. 15. All-day pizza. Pizza stations on board are open nearly 24/7. Sounds great, until you realize that pizza isn't made fresh around the clock. Many slices are reheated, left under warming lamps, or worse, just rotated until someone finally grabs them. Ever bite into a slice where the cheese is chewy and the crust feels like cardboard? That's not a fluke, that's round 4 of reheating. I once saw a crew member literally remelt cheese with a blowtorch. Not kidding. And let's not talk about the hygiene at 2 a.m. when tipsy passengers touch every slice before choosing the good one. If you must indulge, go when a fresh pie is being cut or ask for one made to order. Most kitchens will happily oblige if you're polite. Otherwise, that quick snack can turn into a slow stomach churn. Cruise pizza should comfort you, not come with regret as a topping. 16. Tap water at ports. Thirsty after a long excursion? That refillable bottle might be your worst decision. Many cruisers assume water in port terminals or local cafes is safe. It's not. Tap water in foreign ports often doesn't meet your home country's safety standards. You could be gulping down bacteria, parasites, or chemicals your stomach isn't used to. Even worse, some ports cut corners using unfiltered water to fill ship tanks, which then gets served on board. I once met a passenger who got sick for 2 days after topping off her bottle just outside the gangway. Want to stay hydrated? Bring bottled water or refill only on board from filtered stations. And when in doubt, ask a crew member. They know which ports to avoid like the plague. Hydration is key on cruises, but so is caution. That innocent sip? It could cost you 2 sea days in bed while everyone else is sunbathing. Drink smart, stay upright. 17. Creamy catastrophes. That chilled pasta salad with a mayo base or the ranch-drenched coleslaw looks harmless, feels refreshing, but creamy buffet dishes are sneaky troublemakers. Dairy-based and egg-heavy foods spoil fast, especially when they're sitting on a lukewarm tray while hundreds of guests pass through. And once mayo or sour cream slips into the danger zone temperature range, bacteria like Listeria and staph can multiply quickly. The worst part? You usually don't taste the problem. Passengers have ended up in the infirmary from just a few few bites of potato salad that seemed fine. Even the cold dishes can suffer from being left out too long, especially near the end of meal service. If it's glossy, slightly separated, or smells tangy, steer clear. Want that creamy kick without the cruise chaos? Wait for a fresh tray, or grab sealed alternatives from room service, because no side dish is worth spending your vacation locked in a bathroom stall. 18. Late night hot dogs. It's midnight. You're tipsy. The glowing lights of the 24/7 grill call to you. Hot dogs, they whisper, but that fourth meal fix? It's a stomach bomb waiting to detonate. Those dogs often sit under heat lamps for hours, rotated slowly, drying out, collecting dust, and possibly touched by dozens of unsupervised hands. I've seen ketchup-caked tongs sitting on raw buns and guests sneeze into the topping tray like it's no big deal. The staff thins at night, meaning hygiene and freshness standards slip while partygoers line up for their greasy reward. If you're craving a bite, order from room service or hit the late-night deli instead. Anything but those mystery meat tubes slowly rotating into oblivion. You're not at a gas station, you're on a cruise. Eat like it. Midnight memories should be about moonlight and music, not stomach cramps and regret. Skip the dog, save your dignity. 19. Bottomless mimosas. The brunch buffet says bottomless mimosas, and your vacation brain hears challenge accepted. But citrus plus cheap sparkling wine plus empty stomach? That's the perfect storm for motion sickness and public embarrassment. Cruise champagne isn't top shelf, and drinking it like orange juice before noon never ends well. The acidity churns your stomach, bubbles amplify nausea on rocky seas, and the sugar crash hits just in time for your afternoon excursion. I once watched a woman nap on her plate at noon after 3 rounds of bottomless brunch. Not cute. Cruise lines love bottomless anything because it's cheap to refill and hard to resist, but they're counting on you losing control, not sipping responsibly. Want a toast at brunch? Stick to 1 glass, eat real food, and hydrate. Vacation's not about tapping out before 2 p.m. Mimosas are lovely. Bottomless ones? Not so much when you spend the day in bed regretting breakfast. 20. Free room snacks. See that plate of cookies or bowl of fruit waiting in your cabin? Looks complimentary, right? Surprise! Some cruise lines charge for those. That water bottle on the counter could cost you $4.99 in the second you twist the cap. I once met a guy who thought the minibar snacks were free. His tab came to $63 by checkout. Cruise ships are notorious for fine print. If it's not labeled complimentary, assume it's not. Even items delivered by your steward can sometimes be part of upsell programs. Before you bite, ask, or better yet, request only what you need. Real freebies exist, but cruise lines mix them with paid perks to test your attention. Want snacks? Hit the buffet or order the actual free room service options. Otherwise, your welcome cookie might come with a bitter aftertaste when the bill hits. Room service shouldn't feel like roulette. Don't let that chocolate chip cost you champagne money. 21. Mystery stew. You're hungry, tired, and the buffet offers a chef's special stew. Thick, brown, and unlabeled. You spoon some onto your plate, hoping it's beef, or maybe lamb, but halfway through you realize you have no clue. On cruises, stew is often the final resting place for yesterday's leftovers. A little chicken here, a few veggies there, and lots of gravy to hide the confusion. I once bit into something labeled Caribbean chowder and found squid sausage and green beans all swimming together. The worst part? It's usually lukewarm, which is a breeding ground for bacteria. If you can't identify what's in your bowl, skip it. There are always safer options nearby. Stick with freshly grilled meats, made-to-order stations, or clearly labeled items. The chef's special might be special for a reason. No one ordered it the first time. Avoid the ladle lottery and keep your stomach unconfused and unupset for the rest of your cruise. 22. Decorative desserts. Those tiny picture-perfect cakes lined up on dessert trays? They're Instagram gold and taste like cardboard dipped in sugar. Cruise pastry chefs often mass-produce these treats using pre-mixed batters, dyed frosting, and synthetic glazes that look great but taste like regret. I once watched a woman take 3, then toss all of them after a single bite. Why? They're built for photos, not flavor. And worse, they're full of preservatives to last through multiple dinner shifts. Some are even reused from one station to another if untouched. Want dessert? Go for items made to order. Molten lava cakes, soft serve ice cream, or fruit cobblers fresh from the oven. Or hit up specialty cafes where treats aren't churned out like cruise ship currency. Because nothing says vacation disappointment like biting into what looks like tiramisu, only to discover it's sponge cake topped with whipped sadness. Cruise sugar is a trap. Choose wisely. Your taste buds and your blood sugar will thank you. 23. Sketchy sauce. A good sauce can elevate any dish, but a sketchy one can destroy your appetite, or worse, your cruise. Buffet sauces are often unlabeled, sit out too long, and get cross-contaminated when guests mix tongs or double dip. I once saw marinara splattered into the ranch tray with no one cleaning it for hours. Hot sauces cool to room temperature, cold ones warm in the sun, both becoming bacteria playgrounds. And don't assume the spicy-looking one is salsa. It could be a seafood paste with mayo that's been sweating in the open air. The safest move? Ask what's in it, or better yet, skip sauces that aren't at attended stations. Go for the sealed packets or ask staff to serve from behind the counter. That creamy garlic blob might be leftover aioli with a new label. Cruise food is a buffet of choice, but mystery sauce roulette? That's a game for brave and iron-stomached souls. Don't play it. 24. Carving station chaos. It looks impressive. A chef in a tall hat slicing into a massive roast under glowing heat lamps. But that carving station? It's where caution goes to die. Roast beef, ham, or turkey left out for hours turns dry on the edges, undercooked in the center, and often barely warm. I once bit into a pork loin that looked done on the outside and was pink, cold, and rubbery inside. Worse, carving knives get reused for different meats, and slices fall onto counters wiped more with rags than sanitizer. Lines pile up, and servers rush, meaning you're likely to get either a slab too thick or one shaved so thin it tastes like warm deli paper. If you want roast, go to a sit-down meal where it's cooked and served properly. At the buffet, that dramatic knife show is often just that, drama. Skip the heat lamp roast, and you'll skip the regret that often follows it. 25. Mystery healthy muffins. You grab a muffin labeled banana oat protein, thinking you're being smart, something healthy to balance last night's midnight fries. But surprise, it's loaded with sugar, fake fruit, and barely any oats. Cruise bakeries love giving baked goods buzzword makeovers. Gluten-free, protein-packed, low-fat, but many are just marketing spins on the same sugary base. That banana muffin, it's probably got more calories than a slice of cake. I once saw a bran muffin with frosting on it. Frosting. If a baked good looks too perfect, it probably is. Want something genuinely healthy? Go for whole fruit, plain yogurt, or ask the staff about allergen-free options. Muffins aren't evil, but they're sneaky, especially when they're masquerading as health food. Cruise calories add up fast, and these little liars don't help. Start your day strong, and leave the healthy muffin deception for someone else's regret story. Outro. Cruise food can be a highlight or a hazard. The key? Know what to skip, when to ask, and where the real gems are hiding. Avoid the traps, and your stomach and vacation will thank you. Seen any of these on board, or have a regret of your own? Drop it in the comments, and sail smarter next time.